So you want to learn film, huh?
That's what we're going to teach how to do, to film.
It's called film.
The anti-suck.
Fear not the film.
Film. It's kind of vintage, but not old, gross, and smelly.
Pixar Academy. Come be cool.
Film.
Learn it, love it.
Thus saith the Parker.
One of the things I love to do is to go and look at what photographers are doing and kind of see what, at least from just looking at the image, try to get a gauge and an idea of what they're doing in terms of using, what kind of modifiers they're using. And it's kind of fun little exercise. And as you, again, begin to work with, say, all these different modifiers, there's often you can kind of get close and say, this is, I think, what they're doing. And there was a photographer, I can't even remember who it was, but I came across his work, and one of the images he had a portrait of a guy who had just a real sliver, a little bit of light coming down the middle of his face. So basically it was dark going back toward from the cheeks back to the ears. And I thought, I wonder how he's doing that. And I got to thinking about that. So I brought this, I had an opportunity to photograph a rap artist, and Sizzoll, and you'll see the image there of him. And I first thought maybe the photographer took two pieces of like foam core and shot a light through the slot of the foam core, and that slot was actually hitting the face. The first thing I noticed was that when I did that, the lines were really, really sharp, and I had the light way too far back. As I brought the light in, it kind of worked a little bit, but really I just didn't quite get the look that I wanted, or I thought that that this guy had achieved. And so I ended up taking and putting a 10-degree spot into a standard reflector that goes on my strobe head. And then I took tape and I actually made a slit that's about probably 3/4 of an inch in diameter. And I brought that modifier, I guess you'd say, the hood with the tape and the grid, about 1.5 feet from the subject, and then it would produce this beautiful little slit of light on the subject. So the whole thing about the fun of just sort of exploring is really, if you know your end result and you experiment, the chances are you'll get there, and you can come up with something maybe that not too many people are doing, or it's a new way of looking at approaching portraiture. So I would encourage you to look at photographers' work, and even without a schematic or looking at what they're doing behind the scenes, you can, for the most part, get at least a basic idea of how they've accomplished something. And with some very simple modifiers, you can achieve that look, and by just building it. And in the end, I think, by doing that exercise, you actually grow and become a much more rounded sort of technician of lighting by having to go through it and problem solve it yourself. So that's what I would encourage. So we're going to do that. We're going to take that little modifier and show you how I did that. The other thing I do is, to make it really simple, I take and put up a 7-foot octo box and actually have the subject stand in front of it. And that becomes like a white background, but actually I have the ability to make it pure white. And that light can also influence a little bit of the light spilling around the subject. So that's kind of another little addition that you can do with this technique. All right, here we are with McBoom, up and coming rap artist from LA, right? And you're gonna give Eminem a run for his money, I bet.
Run for his money.
That's right.
And 50 Cent.
Okay, there you go. Well, when you hit it big, let me know.
All right.
So we're going to do a picture. I showed you the picture of Sizzoll that I did, that rap artist. And basically, we've got a 7-foot octo behind here that's creating just a white sweep, or a white background. By powering that white, or this boom, or this octobox up, I can actually add a little bit of spill around it if I want. And what I've done is, by shooting a couple tests here, I ended up just powering it down until I started seeing a little bit of the wrinkles in the material, and then I just brought it back up about a half a stop or so. So it's just a nice white background. Now you could do this on a gray, or there's a lot of options. In fact, in the future, maybe I'll experiment with different colored backgrounds. But for this, to duplicate what I did for Sizzoll, I just had you can use a soft box, a square or a rectangle box also. I just happen to have this set up. And then for my overhead light, I have a regular standard reflector with a 10-degree spot grid in here. It's sort of covered up. You can't see it because I got tape on it. And then my actual slit is about a 1/2 inch. So pretty simple, not a huge investment to put this together. And the hardest part about this is lining up that slit so that it falls right down the face here. So we're going to shoot a couple here, and I'm going to try to line you up. And remember, put your hands in there, do some stuff with your hands, it really kind of adds. So go that way just a little bit right there. So look and make sure you're dead centered right down the middle here. So we get here. Right, that's pretty good. So let's take a look at my value. I might bring it up just a little bit in power here. Okay, ready? Take a look here. Looks pretty good. Now I have a little bit of light hitting the very sides of your face, just on the other side, this side of your ears, but it's very subtle. And I don't think it's necessary to have that. Let's fire a couple here. All right, give me a little more attitude. Come on. There you go. All right, bring your hands in there again. Okay, so I'm going to raise it up just a little bit here. I'm going to loosen this up so I can do it by hand here. Right there. So I'm right on the money. Oh yeah. Right there. It's a little tricky to get that just right. Oh, that looks good. I love that. Try that again. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we're going to fill the frame. Okay, still want your hands in there though. There you go. All right, attitude, man, attitude. Come on. That looking good. That's good right there, right there, right there, right there, right there. Perfect. That's good. So anyway, not super difficult in terms of the materials or the equipment used. The hardest part is just sort of feathering that light so it's right down. You don't want the light to exceed probably outside of where the cheeks are. So keep that slit down the middle. And probably if I really had to, I could maybe even close that gap a little bit more. I'm a 1/2 inch, maybe go even narrower, because that light's actually pushing through, and it does diffuse. So if I get this closer, actually let's do that. I'm gonna move it closer and see if I can get a little bit tighter edge to it. Let's just go run it about 8 inches. And then I'm gonna down the power just a little bit, see what that does. Oh, yeah. So I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit, right there. So this is narrowing it down just a little bit. And actually, I'm going to power it down even more, so it's really subtle. Yes. Okay. This is good. Very nice. Looks like you've done this before. That's it right there. Perfect. All right, obviously then in Photoshop, I can do my little techniques to really give it the kind of a gritty look, but good job, man.
All right.
So we'll see you on tour?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, now for our homework assignment. The first thing you got to do is find a character that's willing to stand for you. And so you got to find a rap artist or someone that's got some, I guess, you know, character.
Someone with street cred.
Street, that's right, that's right.
You know?
A homeless guy on the street.
Yep, behind Kmart.
So I think for the most part that if you don't have a grid, I think you're going to be in trouble. So you're going to have to find a grid, and the grids that I buy, they're about $20, so it's not a big investment. These are, I think, 8-inch grids, but get one that you can put on here. Get the tape again, not a big investment. So if you don't have a big modifier, try going up against just maybe a gray wall or something, or even black. If you take a black sheet of foam core or something, that might be a good look. So do some testing. Go about a foot and a half away from your subject's a good starting point.
Special thanks to FJ Westcott for keeping this episode lit up. Like the music? Special thanks to Triple Scoop Music. Frame Network giveaways are brought to you by B&H. Head to giveaways.framenetwork.com for your chance to win. Find out more about the equipment used in this episode on framenetwork.com.
All right, here we are. We want to talk about, we're in front of the computer, and I want to talk about the sort of the compositing side of things. And really, as I've said before, I believe that composites are where the future of photography is going. So if you don't have the skills to sort of do the composites, you're going to really kind of be left behind. Now, it may not be your thing, but I can tell you this: if you work in the commercial side of things, or where you're in at least trying to make a living with photography, you're going to have times when a client's going to ask you to do something that requires a composite.
Head to FrameNetwork.com and create your Passport login to gain exclusive access to LitUp and your favorite shows. Only on Flix.